Hey guys, so I'm gonna briefly show you this polling brought to you by realclearpolitics. You should check them out, support them. You know, all rights and proceeds should go to them. But because I'm doing that, I have to do it in this room, so the lighting's shitty and the camera shot's gonna be a little crappy. But I just want to get it across to you what's going on. There's been a kind of significant change occurring in the polls, so I thought I'd show you briefly. Okay. So bear with me. Now, if you look at this graph, this is the graph of polling averages brought to you by Real Clear Politics. They poll all different kinds of polls. Here, I'll show you a few of the polls. They've got Gallup, PPP, Rasmussen, Fox, CNN, USA Today, and many others. And they basically average those polls out, and then you come out with a number more representative of the actual electoral process. By averaging it out, you get a more accurate sum, because some polls, are way off. Anyway, if you look at this, the purple line, you can kind of see it. It's above the green line, is Romney. And if you look from the beginning, Romney started out about just under 25%. The green line is Palin. And you can see how, time goes on. And, a bunch of people get into the race, so their polls naturally go down. But, you can see Palin's numbers decreasing. But what is the significant part? It is the part at the end that I want you guys to see. Now, throughout this race, despite the fan base, I'm going to zoom out, sorry you guys. Despite the fan base Palin, has, she was unable to really break through on an average, averaging for, polls. But here you clearly see that Rick Perry, which is that kind of brownish, maybe golden, I don't know. It's the line passing the purple line. That's the significance. That's what Perry's campaign is about. Because he starts kind of just at about 2%, and then he just shoots up instantly. Now, could this hypothetically change any moment? Yeah, if something bad comes out about Perry's past, definitely. But I think that it's significant that he's the first guy to really pass Romney. Now, if you also look, I'm going to show you another poll in this site. The black line is Bachmann's numbers. And as you can see, she plateaus. Here, I'm going to use this thing if I can get it. Well, see, the problem is that it does that. But you can kind of see she plateaus. Oh, screw it, that's not going to line up. Right there. That's kind of goes up, plateaus, kind of on a downward trajectory as Perry grows. Now, if you're looking at more inside the baseball or, inside the actual election, let's go to Iowa's polling. If it ever comes up. Come on. Okay, here we go. Bachmann had been owning Iowa completely. However, as you can see, the most recent polling, here, it's easier just to look here. She's only 0.4 points ahead of who? Who could that be? It is Perry. Yeah, it's almost a dead heat, really. It's actually a really close race, because if you look at the yellow line is the average. You follow? That's what they came up with. You see Bachmann's at 19.7, Romney's at 19.3, Perry's at 19, and then it kind of goes down from there. I should probably mention Paul's at 12.3. Which, can I say something? That's not an insubstantial number, from where he started. And then everybody else is, 5% or below. And Huntsman's dead. He's not coming back. And you can see the polling and how it is shaping up. Now, that shows a real race. Now, let's say I'm going to go through a few hypotheticals. Without the map, I was going to have a map, but frankly, I think you guys are smart enough to I'll just name the states as we go. We start out with Iowa, this is the polling for that. And, let's hypothetically say somehow Romney pulls it out. Romney wins Iowa. Well, then they go to New Hampshire, and I'm going to show you New Hampshire for a second. And this I think says a lot about what's going on, and it shows Romney up by 18. Commanding lead. That in Republican politics, that he's unless he really fucks up or Perry pulls out like some magical event, he is going to win this one. So that would give him 2 wins in a row. I think that's basically what it's going to take to win the Republican election. Is once you win 2 in a row, I think the momentum just becomes too great. Now, if you look at Paul's actually at 10% again. He's in 3rd place in this race, in the New Hampshire race. That's, once again, that's not an insubstantial number. He's almost number 2. 3 points off in a crappy poll or a regular poll is, it takes about 2 points either way. So that's actually not that far off from the leader. Once again, once Perry's not that far off either. I don't want to underwrite him. But I think it's interesting with the numbers. Once again, they calculate for Palin, even though she's probably not in it, which probably subtracts numbers from both Bachmann and Perry. Actually, it's interesting because without those numbers, if you just look at the graph below, you can kind of see where they go. And Bachmann usually ends up with more. But it's interesting. It definitely is interesting. Anyway, I am going... Bear with me. Oof. You don't want to look at that. Alright, anyway. So as you can see here, the lighting is horrible in this room. As you can see here, the polling definitely shows a changing storyline. Romney losing some support, and Perry definitely gaining. Now, once again, I think probably what will happen is Perry's going to peak, and then we'll see if he peaks late enough that he wins out. Frankly, if any candidate wins 2 in a row, once again, I think that's it. It's hard for me seeing them pull it out. But having said that, if you look at the states that they're going to, just so I'm going to go through them real quick. They go to Iowa, New Hampshire, then they go to Nevada and Carolina, then they go Florida, then they have the Super Tuesday where it's just a shitload of states. Frankly, I think that if they make it to Florida and Romney's only won Iowa and Florida, and Bachmann and Perry could split the other 2 states, I think they're going till June, because just realistically how they've set it up, because before it used to all be kind of winner takes all. Now it's kind of more amount of votes. That definitely adds different layers to it, and I think that that's going to make it a longer race, unless either Perry or what's his name, Romney ends up winning 2 in a row. For Romney's got a lot better chance of doing it, but at the same time, I don't think he's got the support to do it. If you talk to people that are fans of Romney, they're not really into him. You know what I mean? That sounded really like girlfriend, boyfriend, but you know what I mean? They're just not into him as a candidate. He's somebody that they're sitting pretty with, but they're not really excited about. You follow? And if Perry pulls ahead, which he is, I think that a large amount of those numbers that support Romney are people that want to support the winner. And I think they're going to switch over. And I think that becomes a story in itself. Now, unless something, once again, negative comes up about Perry, I think that shows a significant tilt in the chances for Romney to get elected. The other aspect of it to think about is, okay, so this process goes through, let's say they go to June, okay? They get past Super Tuesday, which is going to be the big hump. If they keep campaigning after Super Tuesday, 2 weeks after Super Tuesday, that means that they're probably going to go, they're almost definitely going to go to June. Now, if you look at the numbers, the question is going to be where all these delegates go. Because with them coming up with this level of proportionality, and with the competitiveness between Bachmann and Perry, as well as probably the votes Ron Paul's going to get, the question is where are those delegates going to go? Because if they go that long, I think Perry, let's say Bachmann gets ahead of Perry, or Perry gets ahead of Bachmann, one of them's gonna be a kingmaker in this scenario. And don't count out Ron Paul, because he is going to campaign to the end, and he's gonna get as many fucking, electoral, votes as possible to bring to the convention. Why? Because Ron Paul fucking fights to the end. You can say a lot of bad things about Ron Paul, you can say a lot of good things about Ron Paul, but one thing you have to say about Ron Paul is that he is consistent. And, last time he fought to the end, and I'm 90% sure this time he's going to go all the way to the convention, just because that's the kind of guy he is. You know what I'm saying? Now, if that happens, that means that he's going to have a substantial number of votes to play with there. And it's going to be interesting, because endorsements then are going to be a big deal. I know the lighting's horrible. I'm sorry about that. I hope this has been not boring, not completely boring. I know I'm talking about numbers and politics, and that's just boring crap. But I think that it is a definite significant change, and if you clicked on this, you're probably interested in it too. So with that, if you want to drop a comment, Ron Paul 2012 or anything else, that always seems to come up in comments, definitely do. I'm not discouraging Ron Paul, frankly. I think he's an interesting candidate. But I'm probably not going to vote in the Republican primary. We'll see. Maybe I will. If they make it to the Washington without having a real leader, I'll do it. I will sign up. I am excited. Anyway, I'm dragging this on. Have a great day. Goodbye.